Hi, my name is Kimber Gandy, and this is my presentation on 3D printing in Mexico. What is 3D printing? 3D printing, also known as additive manufacturing, is the process of creating three-dimensional objects from a digital design. 3D printed objects are built layer by layer, only depositing material where needed. Some technological characteristics include mass customization, toolless production, and a digital to physical flow. Mass customization is a huge characteristic of 3D printing. Since there are no molds to change, a developer can create numerous unique products with no production price difference. Toolless manufacturing allows manufacturing to take place with just a digital file. This saves companies money on production. Finally, the digital to physical flow is a process that uses a computer aided design model that translates geometric shapes into a precise 3D model. Who is using 3D printing in Mexico? In Mexico, 3D printing is booming, mostly driven by the nearshoring trend as global companies move factories closer to the US. We can see automotive and aerospace companies in cities like Monterrey and Querétaro using 3D printing for custom factory tools, jigs, and high-tech parts as opposed to waiting for overseas shipments. There have been other companies like Cemex who have 3D printed concrete neighborhoods. Additionally, doctors and dentists have used 3D printing to make custom implants or dental aligners. Where is 3D printing used in Mexico? 3D printing is being used in cities like Nacajuca, Monterrey, and Mexico City. In Nacajuca, located in the southern state of Tabasco, they have become a global pioneer of 3D printed construction. A tech firm called Icon worked with local housing nonprofits to build an entirely 3D printed neighborhood for families living in extreme poverty. In Monterrey, 3D printing is being heavily used in manufacturing. Massive automotive and industrial plants are using high-end metal laser printers to develop custom factory tools, robotic assembly jigs, and complex machinery parts. They have events like the Expo Manufactura in Monterrey that showcase 3D printing alongside automation and robotics. Additionally, in Mexico City, 3D printing is being used for on-demand service bureaus, consumer tech, and advanced medicine. There are 24/7 print shops for businesses that can deliver high-precision resin or nylon prototypes to architects or designers within the next day. Mexico City has massive hospital networks that heavily use 3D printing for numerous reasons, whether it's for dental aligners, surgical drill guides, or implants. ALAR Technology Development SWAT. ALAR Technology Development, an advanced manufacturing firm in Querétaro, has become the first in the country to integrate high-end wire laser metal 3D printing. After performing a SWOT analysis of ALAR, I have identified the company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. High-end wire laser printing has given ALAR the internal strength to rapidly manufacture and repair titanium and steel components quickly. Additionally, ALAR systems allow them to use DED, directed energy deposition, to 3D print metal directly onto existing parts, allowing them to rebuild industrial components instead of replacing them. Some weaknesses that ALAR have include high upfront capital expenditures, high-end laser printer costs, which can cost about hundreds or thousands of dollars. Additionally, complex post-processing presents weaknesses as well. Metal 3D prints require a heat treatment to relieve internal stress. This keeps ALAR dependent on a longer multi-step workflow. There are many opportunities for ALAR. The nearshoring boom has been great for their company. The relocation of U.S. supply chains has allowed ALAR to capture aerospace contracts by offering zero inventory models to local factories. However, ALAR is presented with external threats like fluctuating costs on imported metal wires, the safety certification process, and rapid technological obsolescence. When are they using 3D printing? The mass adoption of 3D printing in Mexico started between 2017 and 2018. This adoption started when the Mexico government funded a national additive manufacturing consortium in Querétaro and when HP introduced high-speed printing to the country. This adoption accelerated rapidly during the nearshoring boom. Aggressive tax incentives allows factories to deduct 100% of these asset investments. However, true mass adoption across Mexico faces steep barriers. The massive upfront capital costs of industrial machines, the reliance of imported raw materials, and a shortage of trained engineers all play a part in this. Mexico is actively using 3D printing to drive the UN's Sustainable Development Goals by transforming local infrastructure, healthcare, and industrial production. In Nakajuca, 3D printing was used to build the world's first entirely printed 3D neighborhood. This provided low-income families with disaster-resilient concrete housing, supporting SDG 1, no poverty, and SDG 11, sustainable cities. Addressing SDG 3, good health and well-being, local healthcare labs utilize 3D printing for manufacturing custom, affordable prosthetics and dental aligners. Additionally, companies like CEMEX utilize 3D printing to support SDG 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, and SDG 12, responsible production, to cut raw material manufacturing waste and to replace physical spare house warehouses with on-demand digital catalogs. To wrap up, I'd like to end with two truths and a lie, so feel free to comment down below which statement you think is the lie and why. For statement 1, Mexico is home to the world's first entirely 3D printed community. For statement 2, legal deeds to Mexico's 3D printed houses were given exclusively to women. And finally, statement 3, Mexico City hospitals have successfully 3D printed functional bioprinted kidneys for human transplant. Thank you for listening to my presentation on 3D printing in Mexico.